Welcome back to Wormhole Extremists. My name is David Reed. I'm with Nicole.
Hello.
And Evie.
Good day.
And we're watching Shadow Play, which is a return to Kelowna. Not yet named Langara.
Yes, exactly. Sorry, I just had to adjust my volume because it was blaring and it kind of scared me a little. Sorry. I wanted to bring up watch Jack in these briefing room scenes that are coming up because he's like uncharacteristically still. So he's usually fidgeting, but he's like not doing that at the moment. And the Gateworld reviewer, Mojana Kaufman, basically says that this is RDA's subtle nod to Jack's lingering trauma from Abyss, which I think is
Oh,
yeah.
I like that.
Also,
Interesting.
you'll see Peter DeLuise in the background. He's at the desk.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah,
Sorry, he
there he
Yeah,
is.
there he
usually doesn't
is.
appear. He usually doesn't appear like this early on. Like we're literally in the first minute.
Or for this long.
Yeah.
You know what still drives me nuts? They put
What's
in
that?
monitors into the thing behind there. To this day, I don't know why they took them out in later seasons. Why they replaced them with just
Yeah.
still images.
Oh,
That looks so
yeah.
good.
No.
Why take it out? Why take it out? I have not
Yeah.
gotten a
Yeah,
satisfactory
well,
answer from production.
oh really?
Nope.
Oh, I would
They're
have
like,
thought
well,
it
we
just come
just
down
changed
to
things.
money
I'm
or
like,
something.
yeah, but what kind of money are we
Why?
talking about here?
Why?
Yeah, it looks so good, you know?
It's a computer. Just leave it running and let it do
Right.
its thing. It can't be that hard to
Rather
plug it
than
in.
images with fluorescent bulbs behind them of
Yeah,
different corridors, and you're simulating the computer monitors anyway, so whatever. I'm
exactly.
over it.
So I was gonna say, like, this whole episode is kind of there's like a fascinating role reversal at play. Like after years of SG1 kind of requesting advanced technology from races like the Asgard and the Tolan, only to be told that Earth wasn't ready, they now sort of find themselves in the opposite position with Kelowna. Like they've become what they once resented, like the advanced civilization
Yeah.
having to say no.
This isn't the first time that's happened, though, is it? Where they've had to
Uh,
say no?
Probably not, but
Okay.
it's sort of like, I guess, the main focus of the episode. Whereas maybe in the other episodes, it was kind of just sort of a theme in the background. Um, I have something else to say, but quickly, there is a pineapple that you'll see in a
Very
second.
important.
Yeah, well, I guess Will Waring was in the. There it is.
There it is.
There it is.
Dean Stockwell, my favorite Cylon.
Oh,
Spoilers.
really?
I know. Yeah, he was really good.
He's incredible.
I don't know if he's my
I know he's my
favorite, but I think
favorite.
he's
Yeah.
very
was
good.
I'm
such
very partial to the Simons.
a piece of crap. I loved
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Little incestuous too.
It was.
I have, if you're watching on YouTube right now with us live, I've got a poll for you all in there, so please fill it out at your convenience. Thank you.
Yes. Joe Malozzi considers this episode to be a defining episode for Jonas. He's caught between his
Yes.
past,
Mhm.
everything he left behind on Kelowna, and all the possible futures ahead of him. So this episode really lets us dig deeper into what Jonas is, especially through his relationship with his former mentor. And it's, I think, a turning point that helps us understand why Jonas made the choices he did and how those choices continue to shape who he's becoming. And I think it's kind of I like that he's got something like in common with Tilk. Like they were both essentially branded traitors. And Jonas's journey is a little bit different from Tilk, but there is that similarity there. And, both men sort of made bold choices to leave their worlds behind, knowing they'd be called traitors, but they saw, like, I guess, the bigger truth. And
Yeah.
while Jonas is caught up in, like, the immediate pain of facing his accusers, he's
Yep.
actually walking the same path.
Yep.
So,
Mm.
Doug Abrams. We had him at the
yes.
end. We had him on Dial the Gate a few weeks ago. He was
We
wonderful.
did.
What a
He was
voice.
very
Holy cow.
good. I know. So he later returns to Stargate as an Ori prior.
Yes.
And I
With
actually
the
really
one-eyed
liked
prior.
his.
I never
Yes.
realized that was him
That's him.
until
He
that
was
interview.
He's
And
under a lot
it
of
blew my
makeup.
mind.
Different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I actually found I did listen to your interview with Doug, and I really found it fascinating that he was or he is like a sought after dialect coach.
Yes, he is. Big deal.
And it all started with him mimicking like his Scottish priest's accent during Sunday service. And his coaching career has really taken him far. Like he even helped Wagner Mora master English for Elysium. And
That's right.
Wow.
that was
Yeah.
before he took on the role as Pablo Escobar in Narcos.
Yes.
So yeah.
My folks love that show. Well,
I
my
thought it
dad does.
was a great show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved it. I couldn't get enough.
Can you understand the Spanish?
Yes, although it's very confusing because obviously everyone around me is watching with subtitles, and the subtitles don't always match what they're saying.
No, that's
so they've
exactly
gotta find
right. That would drive
an
me
alternative.
nuts. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, as we mentioned, this episode also stars Dean Stockwell. So, I didn't realize that he actually started as a child actor in the 40s. He starred alongside like Frank Sinatra, Katharine Hepburn.
He was a little
And
boy.
he like completely reinvented himself as a character actor. And he was also in Quantum Leap. And he
sure
won
was.
multiple Emmy nominations and a Golden Globe. And of course, Battlestar Galactica.
I loved him in The
And
Langoliers.
we sadly lost him at age
We sure
85
did.
in
Yeah.
November 2021.
Yep.
This is also Gillian Barber as Ambassador Draylock, and this is actually her second visit into the Stargate universe. She was in The Gamekeeper
Tell us about the world
in
outside.
season 2. Yes. And she'll actually return 2 more times as Draylock in Homecoming and Fallout.
Great meme this week, by the way.
I was going to say the meme was Inception.
Thank
Fantastic choice.
I want to bring this up while I can. So the
Yeah,
previous
sure.
episode, we have a limited supply of Nequadria. This episode, we have a surplus of Nequadria. The
Yes,
next
conveniently.
season, we have so much Nequadria, our planet's going to blow up. I'm just saying.
Yes, yeah, it just gets progressively worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wanted to mention as well that Corin Nemec actually worked with Dean Stockwell in the past. Dean appeared in Corin's first film, Tucker, the Man and His Dream.
Yep.
And Corin was thrilled to work with him again on Stargate.
That's so
And
special.
We talked
he
about that
spoke
in
so
Dial the Gate
warmly
Part
of
2.
him.
Yep.
Yeah, he said that he was an amazing actor, amazing guy, and a legend in the film business. So I
Yeah.
think you can definitely see like that respect and chemistry on film.
For sure.
Yeah. Oh dear, oh dear. These classic conversations.
We know
Classic
they're going to ultimately
conversations.
use the bomb. And we can
Yeah.
see how they go in that direction. And they have a similar experience to us. You know, they
do.
it forces the Turanians and the Andaris to the negotiating table.
Yeah.
As awful as it is, which I think is interesting.
It's like looking at us at the toward the end of World War II, you know? It's that kind of
Exactly.
image.
So the Clonans like claim that they're vulnerable, but then like comes the blackmail, like give us military tech or else.
Yeah.
So like they're basically threatening to use the very weapon that killed Daniel while he was saving them from themselves. So it's a little bit ironic.
Help us or we will blow up our neighbors.
Yeah.
I can understand them doing that, you know, because they don't want to blow their neighbors up, but we're also not going to help them either. So,
Yeah, well, they just think that they've run out of they've just run out of options at this stage.
Did we
This
ever
is a bit of
establish? Did
something
they
else.
ever establish why they're fighting? It's probably
yeah,
is it
she said that-
resources? It's resources, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of just the thing with all history, isn't it? You know, everyone wants each other's stuff, which is why most wars initially started happening. Is because
Stuff
everyone was
or
like,
access to stuff.
yeah, give me the stuff.
I want both of you to jointly write a book on world history that's called Give Me the Stuff.
From an
And
American
what
and
happened
British
when they didn't
perspective.
give the stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can look at the British Museum and you can see all the stuff we took. So the
That's true. Oh my God.
memes, it's terrible, honestly. I laugh about it, but it's horrible.
Yes. Yes. So I think here you can really see Daniel's ethical influence and Jack's like lingering anger at play.
And
Mhm.
So yeah, there's like he's like torn between Daniel's wisdom and Daniel's memory.
And Jack is making the same argument that the Chancellor of Talana made to him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Are you the
that's
leader of
true.
your entire nation? You can't guarantee what you will and won't do with our tech.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny that they found themselves in this situation after what happened.
I do want to say this is an episode I don't watch much. I think I've only ever seen it 2 or 3 times.
I'm not in love
Samesies.
with the
So-
Lankaran plot. I'm just not.
No.
I'm a big fan of Corin, but I mean, I'm just not crazy about the Lankaran plot. So. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I love Dean Stockwell.
Forgive me.
Yeah.
And I'm not a huge fan of the plot either, you know, but he's a tremendous
It's a very
actor,
slow
so-
plot. I understand why it's here. Like it's an important episode, but it is a very slow burning plot.
Yeah.
So there's a kind of a clever Easter egg coming up for those with sharp eyes. So there's actually a control console on the computer screen behind Jonas. It's not this one, it's sort of more behind him. It's the ancient time loop device from Window of
yes,
Yes,
it
it
is.
So the writers apparently like deliberately placed it here as a clue.
Yeah.
So both episodes sort of play with our perception of reality.
Absolutely.
Like Window of Opportunity had Jack and Tilk stuck, obviously repeating the same day, while here Dr. Kieran's Nequadria poisoning has him losing grip on what's
That's
real.
true.
So they're like little breadcrumbs throughout the episode to kind of lead us to that conclusion.
Did you see what
Nick Nall
Jonas
said, is
was?
this the...
Go ahead.
Sorry?
Go ahead.
No. And Nick Nall said, is this the one with the twist at the end? Yes, it is. Confirmed. There you go.
Yeah.
Did you see what book Jonas was reading?
No. What was he
He
reading?
was reading the Bible.
Oh, was he? Oh, very
wow,
interesting.
Okay.
Well, it's just very cool to learn about what everyone, because obviously around the, I'd assume if there were other people, and in the Stargate universe, there's other
Tilk
people
read the Bible.
everywhere who
He
read,
did,
who have different
yeah.
religious experiences, then you're going to want to read up
Well,
on
it's-
everyone's
I
religions and see
suspect
what's
that they
going on.
did. Yeah, the big
Yeah.
ones.
Wow, it's still a very important text, regardless of
Significant
like,
part of your
whether
Western
you believe
culture.
in it or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, as a, if I was an alien coming to a new world and I had the ability to read the texts, I would want to read their most important religious texts because I would want to have an idea of what it is that they stand for and what drives them. Culturally.
Well, my biggest
Yeah.
thing would simply be like, I'd feel like I feel like not everyone brings it up a lot, but it comes up briefly in moments such as like when General Hammond says Godspeed, and he'd be like, "What? Why are you saying that?" You know, and
Your
then
society
that would be
operates on
how he'd-
Judeo-Christian rules.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
so
he
how would
wants
that
to.
spiral?
Yeah, he wants to assimilate
find him all.
himself to the Earth culture, so
Yeah.
that would be definitely a good way to start.
Yep. I also loved his Nintendo console.
Yeah,
behind it, or his controller. So
yeah. I always appreciate that.
back to the episode. The Resistance.
Meanwhile-
Yeah.
Raj Luthor brought up Scott Bakula
Yes.
because quantum leap, and so with that as well, that all loops back around to Stargate again.
if
because
you
we've
haven't
got
seen
another
Quantum Leap,
guest star coming.
go watch it. It is good.
Yeah.
I haven't seen.
That's the first
Quantum
time
Leap.
Oh, it's
I ever
so
saw him.
good.
I first saw him in Chuck, and then I went and saw Quantum Leap.
Scott Bakula?
Yeah,
Okay.
he plays Chuck's dad.
Oh, he does.
Phenomenal. He made me cry on many occasions.
Scott's good. The ending for Quantum Leap, I love it and hate it. Because it was supposed to be a season finale rather than a series finale, and then it just had a postscript afterwards explaining what happened. And now the
Oh,
new one's been
damn. I hate
canceled,
that.
and it's also ended
Yeah, such
similarly.
a shame.
Yeah.
Yeah, non-military. Mm-mm.
Vaccines.
It's a funny loophole. It reminds me of the
Yeah.
other side when they were like, "Oh yeah, water is fine because we're just giving them water that happens to power all their, explosives and
Heavy
stuff."
water,
Yeah.
yeah. No, I think I missed one of my comments, but yeah, Sam was offering them. I don't think she's done it yet. She was offering them vaccines, and I think they were just hoping for help on a larger scale than
Yeah.
just like microscopic organisms.
Like, we'll fight those for you. We won't fight the actual physical
Exactly.
presence in the room.
It's also kind of interesting. Morjana Kaufman also points out that Jack is the last to arrive in the gate room as the team prepares to disembark. So
Yeah.
she sort of said that this might suggest some hesitancy on Jack's part to return to the field. Also, that's repeated footage with the smoke going
Smokestack
the wrong
going
direction.
on one side, but the smoke going the right direction on the right side.
Yeah, I don't even know how they managed that.
It's just different elements pulled together. Someone's not paying
Yeah.
attention.
Yeah.
So this is Joel Swetow as First Minister Valis.
Mhm.
It's his only Stargate appearance, and we later learn that Valis gets executed before
He sure
Homecoming.
does.
And
Oof.
sci-fi fans might also spot him commanding a Krill warship in the Orville's first episode.
Oh, okay.
I knew I
And
recognized him.
Center
yeah.
your image. You're off to one side. Okay, that's better. That's four
So-
tables put together.
Yes, that's right. I haven't seen the Orville in a while, but now I remember what you're saying. So we know from Meridian that Jonas was like special advisor to the High Minister, but here we're dealing with the First Minister. So are these different people,
I
or did
suspect
Jonas
they're
answer
exactly
to
the
this
same
person?
thing, considering the conversation that they have later. Those two words are interchangeable.
Yeah,
So-
yeah, okay. And I was going to say that he's wearing a very nice collar pin.
I was gonna say he's a very handsome man. I'm
Well, I
loving
actually-
the grey beard.
Oh, it's very regal. Like it's just the bottom
Mhm.
bit that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not used to just looking at a man and going, "Ooh," because usually I like, have to get to know them a little bit better.
Heads of state. I
Mm.
mean, you can understand why they're magnetizing figures, because they have certain looks and certain personalities just go together.
Mm.
So
Well, I actually looked at this is how nerdy I am. I looked at kind of like the history of polo ties, because that's kind of what it's
Oh
like,
my
what
God,
it sort of resembles.
Oh.
And apparently in Earth's history, particularly during the Renaissance, these were not just decorative; they were actually symbols of power and political allegiance.
these, like
Whoa.
the thing he's
It might
wearing
be
right now.
deliberate.
Okay.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
not that particular design, obviously. I couldn't find anything on that, but just the bolo tie in general.
Interesting.
Like,
Okay.
yeah.
I don't think we'll be coming to this stream today learning about bolo ties.
Well, you never know.
You never know.
That can be the one thing you learn today.
Yeah. Haven't learned much else. Thank you for that.
So Draylock
um,
became head of state at the end of Homecoming?
yes.
Okay.
Yes, she does. Yeah.
Because this guy gets wiped off someone's boot.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Doug Abrams had this really adorable story about his audition for this role of Hale. So he said that he walked in knowing absolutely nothing about the show and assumed he was trying out for like an alien role. So he put on this completely over the top, what he called
Oh.
alien accent,
Oh,
only to have Peter
no.
DeLuise tell him, "Sorry, we can't afford aliens that talk like that. Just use your normal voice."
That's so funny.
You know, the more I have people on, the more I get these amazing Peter DeLuise and Martin Wood and Andy Makita too. But a lot of it's Peter
Yes.
DeLuise. He's sticking in people's memories a lot.
He just brings a good comedy to the
Yes,
show that
I
you
love
need.
it too. He's like peppered throughout all of your interviews, basically.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
he sure is. And keep that look up in action.
Brilliant. Mm.
Some nice.
Dan
Jen
Ben,
for
there's
very-
reports from
Is that
actors that
Jell-O?
Orville is making season 4. Yes, that is the current rumor. I just wouldn't be
Yeah.
surprised if it's
Ooh.
Jello.
It's
Yeah, I'd
very
like to do
brightly
Jell-O.
coloured. Like, what liquids are that color?
Mhm.
Be hard to get to though, with a
Mm.
spoon, if it's in the wrong kind of beaker.
That's true. Yeah, you'd need like a very narrow spoon.
Yeah. Mm. So when you guys watch this, did you see this coming? Him being, a bit off.
No,
I didn't know what to
don't
think.
so.
Mm.
Yeah, although like I did notice that he was touching his head a lot, like he was in pain, but I don't think I equated that with him having like schizophrenia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We
And
know
you
that
kind
something's up.
of like
Yeah.
yeah, you kind of like Jonas, you kind of side with Jonas, and you want you want it to be true that there is
Yeah.
Well,
you know,
sure.
this group of I guess insurgents on his
Movement.
planet.
Yeah. Hmm.
So I think these warehouse scenes were filmed at Rogers Sugar Mill in Vancouver.
Oh, so it's not a set.
A sugar mill.
I don't know if it's these scenes or if it's the ones where SG1, like discover that it doesn't look like this. It's really old
Yeah, I would
and
figure that this is the same place,
dilapidated.
just different set dressing.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is like super awkward. Like if you were watching this as an outsider, from like standing in the room with him behind him, because he's just walked into an empty room, just
Yeah,
talking to a room
exactly.
of imaginary
Yeah.
people.
Exactly.
Or he's not talking; he's just thinking. Yeah, there's your
Yeah.
indicator right there. Something's going on.
Yeah.
My first clue was that when he was by himself, and then Jonas would come in, or Jonas was with the two of them alone. Jonas's personality was completely different.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yes.
yeah, something's happening.
I will say it's well written. It's just one of those episodes that just doesn't hit as hard as you want it to.
Mm-hmm. So those are Christmas lights inside of little statues of buildings outside.
Ah.
Or a behind the scenes
Oh.
episode was made, or a behind the scenes clip was made,
I love
showing the other
that.
side of those windows. Yep.
That is just so effective though. Like, and cost effective too.
Uh-huh.
That's awesome. So I love the symbolism with Valis kind of lurking in the shadows. So he's trying to like manipulate Jonas with guilt about, his previous
Yeah.
career path. But yeah, the symbolism is great.
The sun has set on their nation.
Yeah,
They're
exactly.
in twilight.
I will say this is like this kind of part here is probably the thing I'm most looking forward to in this episode, because I like to see the looking back on his life and his choices kind of thing. Because Jonas kind of just appears. He's like, I feel bad about Daniel. I feel bad about stuff. I've stolen some stuff. I live here now. And it's like, I've always wondered what kind of conversations they're having back on his planet about him and how they're handling that. Like, you can guess, but it's nice to see.
Yeah, it is nice to see. It does definitely fill in some blanks, but it's just, it's a very slow moving episode.
Yeah.
This guy's not listening.
No.
No, of course he's not.
Ugh, boo. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
He was disappointed
Jonas.
in you and your system.
Exactly.
Their world is all the world that they know. They haven't seen what he's seen.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's basically his point. Like,
And
they're
this
just
guy's leading a
focusing
nation
on
that's
their
about
own
to fall.
small issues.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Can you guys hear the dog barking outside my window?
I cannot.
Okay, good.
No.
I'm glad.
Is it
because
going
he's driving
absolutely
me nuts.
ham?
Yeah,
That's
it's a
not what I
corgi.
would say. Okay.
So,
Oh,
yeah.
little corgi.
There's two of them.
I've actually got a relatively calm ginger in my room. But I have prepped myself with the squirty bottle of water just in case he starts making a fuss. The aptly named Mr. Squirty.
God. Mm-hmm. Right.
What you did.
Well, it's not too late. Yeah, but like, here's your country, and then there's like the universe, you know?
Mhm.
Jonas
Yeah,
has got some
exactly.
exploring to
Mhm.
do.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
see, he's good people.
Yeah. Absolutely not, mate. It's funny, like you're just doing one tiny favor for this guy. It is just the reverse of what happened, kind of with the with his planet. He betrayed them to go and help Earth, and now he could betray Earth back. But he's not going to do that because he's not a silly Billy. Because
Yeah.
his people are wrong.
Well, it's like they're offering to like erase the turning point in his life.
Wipe that
You know.
slate clean.
Exactly.
Mm.
So all we're thinking right now is, oh, he's suspicious that the guy's turned to the resistance.
Yes.
When actually it's
That-
like, he's concerned that he's losing his mind.
Mhm. But like after this conversation, you just don't really believe what he's saying is true.
No, we have no reason to.
No, we don't.
They're desperate. We understand that they're desperate. We understand why, but we have no reason to believe them.
But like Val's telling Jonas that Dr. Kieran like trusts him and is important to him as leverage. But
Correct.
like the two of you guys are like really important to me and I trust you both, but that doesn't mean I'd spy on either one of you
Right.
for the other. Like that's
Yeah.
just not how trust works, Valis. Like
No.
Yep.
Urius Tosh said an interesting point, which is SG1's portrayal of the US foreign policy while off world kind of shines in the episode, but the limits to the limits to human rights, ignoring let alone weapons sale, would thrive off world in reality, is what they're saying. I think to a degree there could probably be
Probably.
some of that, which is what's really that's quite sad. But I like to think of Stargate as a hopeful alternative to our future in the event that that crazy alien stuff could happen.
Right now,
thinking.
my country is sending weapons to fund one side of a war, and China is sending weapons to fund the other side of the war. So this is just what we do. Look at Corin's demeanor.
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah,
I was gonna
completely.
say like he's basically playing two distinct versions of
Yep.
Jonas. Like there's
Yeah, he's so different.
he's passive and
Docile.
almost dreamlike.
Yes.
Yeah. Whereas the real Jonas is a lot more animated and engaged. So
Yeah.
I think it's like a subtle but brilliant way of differentiating the two.
Like
But
he's so
he's saying things that Jonas would say.
yeah,
Trust
this
my
is true.
people.
He just doesn't
Yeah.
he doesn't have the enthusiasm that Jonas usually has.
Yep.
No, he doesn't. He's dialed right back.
Urius Tosh said that that Stargate Universe could have portrayed the realities more poignantly.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think that would have been very interesting. Another reason why Universe being cancelled sucks. Mm-mm.
Quite suddenly.
Yeah.
This is basically where it's like, okay, this is not gonna work. We're not gonna come to an answer.
No.
You're not gonna give us weapons, and we're not gonna give you the Nequadria. You're just gonna have to find it in, I don't know, some random box somewhere.
Yes, yes.
Dan Ben said something interesting. The thing with Stargate SG1 is that we go to other planets looking for technology, but we wouldn't give it to other people, like depending on what it is. Like,
Yeah,
we go
we,
places and ask for weapons
True.
that we
We
don't
gave,
give them to other people.
We gave
Good
the
point.
Bursa an iris, I suspect, or some means
Yeah.
thereof. So we do it. The
Yeah.
Jaffa. But in terms of WMDs, you're right.
That's very interesting. This is a very interesting episode, actually. Now that people are like,
Mm-hmm.
in the comments are saying like, very interesting things. So it's like, oh yeah, let me look at
Yeah.
I love her vest.
Yeah.
And here the First Minister raises
Yeah, I'm a
a
fan.
great point. Okay, you want us to reveal to our enemies that there are
Yes.
aliens.
It's very rich
When you
coming from a
haven't.
planet
Yeah,
that keeps
actually.
their program hidden behind a deep space radar telemetry cover story.
Yeah.
But kind of like it's do what I say, not as I do.
Just very hypocritical,
And
aren't we?
somehow
Yeah,
the First
it
Minister
is.
knows that we haven't revealed our program to our
He
people.
does.
Spicy. I think the only big difference is that this side of this country knows, but the other country doesn't, and so it's like just two sides. While Earth is a bit more complicated because you got everybody. It's not just two sides.
It's exponential, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, there you go.
Yeah, it has to admit. It has to admit it too. Yeah.
Dicey. I love the way they kind of like show the old-timey planets that are a bit behind with the
1940s.
giant fans.
Yes,
Here's
I
the
like it
giant
too.
fans.
This is because we don't have air conditioning yet.
No.
No.
Gotta aerate the room somehow. Hmm.
I
Oh,
thought
yeah,
Thomas
Thomas
had already
met-
died, but apparently Thomas is not dead.
Yeah, we met him
Yep,
in the earlier
Meridian.
episode. Meridian, yeah.
Hmm. Oof. My poor guy.
Yeah.
He must feel really lonely with all this. Jonas is like his one nice person he can go to.
Mm.
It's like he made all this up to like try and fix it all in his mind.
Yeah, so Dr. Kieran kind of like points out like a pretty massive security flaw. Like Earth could just waltz right through Colonan's unprotected Stargate into like the most secure facility. So
Yeah.
for a civilization that's worried about being attacked, they somehow missed like Stargate Security 101. Like get an
Yeah.
iris.
Oh,
Well, you first have to know that an iris will work
no.
Yeah, true.
or make some tests. But if you only
They
have one
could-
gate address, you can't call us constantly while you're making tests.
Yeah. So like this Nequadria obviously comes with so many strings attached. It's like practically a puppet show. Actually, speaking of puppets,
Wow.
like now we know, I guess, where the title Shadow Play kind of came from in
Yep.
my mind.
Yeah, that's a very fine point.
Urius Tosh said, wouldn't it be like crazy nowadays if we if SG1 gave people phones on other planets? And then said, imagine a group chat with Shaka, like just a WhatsApp group chat. I'd love the selfies. I think you'd take a lot of selfies and do voice messages.
This is when I really began to think, okay, what's going on? You are being
Yeah.
followed this way.
Well, exactly. And you watch Jonas's weapon carefully during this like factory chase scene. So right now he appears to be holding like a regular gun, but the red light grip suggests it's like an INTAR training weapon.
Oh,
if
it
you
sure
keep your
was an
eyes
INTAR.
on it-
Look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you keep your eyes on it for a few seconds, when Jonas heads down another flight of stairs, the red glow completely vanishes.
Wonder what
So,
that was about.
according
Look
to
at that.
Joseph
What the
Pelosi-
hell?
It's an INTAR.
Yeah,
It didn't
so
fire like an
according-
INTAR.
Well,
Yeah.
exactly. So I was going to say, according to Joseph Malozzi, this entire scene is obviously happening in Dr. Kieran's mind. So while Jonas does carry an INTAR off-world, Kieran has never actually seen one in action.
He wouldn't have any
So
context of
in
one.
his in
Wow.
his hallucination, he's imagining the weapon working like a regular gun because that's all he knows. So the writers sort of planted this as a subtle clue that what we're watching is not quite reality.
Interesting.
Wow. That is a very interesting clue.
And he fell
Yeah.
all of, well, that's higher than I thought it was. Okay.
It's decent.
It didn't
probably
look
a
that
flaw.
high from.
I was like,
Yeah.
that is not high.
And somehow they convinced them to bring him back over here, because
Yeah.
our medicine is better. Okay. I guess they could have
They
done it
probably
because
just
they
almost
want our
wanna-
cooperation. So
True. I think they just kind of want to wash their hands of him, kind of. Maybe he's causing more trouble than what it's worth.
Hmm.
Terrell.
Beautiful, beautiful Terrell.
Yeah.
I'm actually very excited to see her in the upcoming season of Virgin River, which
I was
is
gonna say,
in
I
2
saw-
weeks.
I saw the
River was
trailer.
over.
What?
Yeah, what?
No.
No.
They've literally renewed it for
It
another
won't-
like 2 seasons.
It won't stop, David.
Yeah.
It won't stop. Evie's
Yeah,
going to
there's
keep
soap
talking
opera.
about it forever.
It's going to be 7 seasons and it's still in the same 12-month period.
Oh, it's all happening within 1 year?
It's very slow moving and it's funny
Wow.
because like the characters are obviously aging.
Oh, okay.
Damn.
Wow. I did not know
Oof.
this about that. Okay.
Oof. Big oof. Hmm.
We can detect it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Smart, smart.
Okay, I
Let's
do not
go.
buy this at all.
Mm.
Yes, leave our restricted military facilities and wander our streets unaccompanied by our by any of our officers. Just let
That's
you walk
true.
around the planet.
Yeah.
talk to our people, interact with
Just
them.
just gonna go get a coffee. You guys have
Yeah.
got really good coffee on this planet.
Don't buy it
Don't
at
mind
all.
us.
This is fake Jonas.
Yep.
Yeah, because
Yes, it's
he seems real
100%.
weird.
He's too fluid.
Yeah.
Dear oh dear.
Oppenheimer.
Hmm. That was actually such a good movie, though. Like,
Uh,
people said it was boring, and Oppenheimer was
Oh,
a
I
banger
enjoyed it.
movie.
Yeah,
I loved it.
very much.
so it's basically taken like 35 minutes of careful build up
Mm-hmm.
before, we reveal that Dr. Kieran's hallucinations are from schizophrenia. So I think I was listening to the Gate World podcast, and you and Darren were discussing this episode, and Darren sort of made an interesting observation. He said that this season's developing a pattern for those like methodical mystery episodes, like we saw in Nightwalkers.
Mm-hmm.
And the writers are really taking their time to let these stories unfold. So it is definitely a slow burn. And also
Yeah.
here, I'd love this direction where
Oh,
it
it's
pulls
so
back
good.
onto the security feed and you can see
So
that it's
good.
just him lying there alone.
This is true. Now we know.
Also, according to Doug Abrams, the boardroom maps are actually just backwards photocopies of BC road maps.
Brilliant.
Yes. Yeah. That's what Doug said.
Yeah. That's cool.
Just wander around our planet
Yeah.
unaccompanied. It's not
He's
a
been
Also, I
problem.
think
dumping Quadri in a box in this building,
He
right?
sure
And
was.
it's not even well hidden. It's kind of just in the middle of the floor. So this abandoned warehouse, I think, is sort of quite perfect. Like the broken machinery, gathering dust in the shadows. I think it's sort of very symbolic of Dr. Kieran's mind, like
Yeah.
starting to shut down, leaving only fragments
Yeah.
and darkness.
Cobwebs in
I
there.
think the location scouts just really nailed the symbolism here. Also, that's a very strong Wi-Fi signal.
That's not what that is.
I wish my Wi-Fi worked that well.
Lockwatcher says this is the sugar mill.
Mm.
The dust just makes me want to lick the air.
Ugh.
Sugar dust.
Cotton, yeah.
Sugar
Like
dust.
cotton candy. Like those cobwebs on cobwebs, that's cotton candy.
So they're gonna take the Nequadri out of the boxes and put them in their packs. Is that
very heavy.
I'm guessing
See,
what
they
happens?
they don't really go into any detail. I was going to
No.
bring that up later because they don't actually disclose whether they just took it or whether they told them before they took it. I think they just took it,
Of course they took it.
but I don't think they disclose it to anyone.
Oh no. Yeah. And I love how they don't like check their bags before they leave.
No.
The security on this planet just makes no sense whatsoever.
So I was going to mention as well that Jonas being at the other end of the table when they started this discussion, I love how symbolic that was.
Mm-hmm.
So like he's like on one side of the table to his former countrymen, and I think the distance between them isn't just physical; it's like perfectly symbolizes how far Jonas has come in this short period.
Sure, he's arguing
He's
the other
like
side
literally and figuratively on the opposite side.
now. Yeah. Did you see Jonas was still carrying an Intar?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's probably seen Kieran, Kieran's probably seen Jonas wearing it.
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah.
Nothing, darling.
So I also loved Jonas's phrasing. Like he said it's literally in their blood, they can smell it. And I think it kind of brings to mind like Jack and the Beanstalk. And I think that like Jonas knows the Goa'uld will eventually catch the scent of Naquadah. And when they do, they won't negotiate. They won't make any deals.
No, they'll hover
just
over your
take what
city
they
and
want.
just take it.
And I think the Colonians are worried about their neighbors, but they should be more concerned about what's like lurking out there. And I just really like how he's sort of painted this very terrifying fairy tale like parallel.
Well, this is really sad.
Yep.
Yeah, what actually happened to them?
They died.
So, I was going through the comments on Reddit about this episode, and one person found this episode hard to enjoy, because it's not like your typical uplifting Stargate story. And
Mm.
another fan had a different take on the same darkness, saying that they actually appreciated how different
Mm-hmm.
it felt. Like for once, SG1 doesn't just swoop in with a last minute solution. They can't save Dr. Kieran. They can't fix the political
Mm-mm.
situation. And everyone just has to sort of accept that sometimes there aren't happy endings. And I guess the dark thought about the Colonian government is like whether they knew about the Nequadria induced schizophrenia before or after they framed Daniel. Like they certainly know about it now, so they're still kind of clinging to the story about him being like a saboteur, even when they like desperately need Earth's help. So they'd rather protect their lie than
Oh,
acknowledge
sure.
what really happened. So it
Classic.
definitely says something about their priorities.
I suspect this is all new to them since Jonas has been gone.
Yeah.
Mm.
So Majlana Kaufman again said that this episode served as a fascinating reverse image of Meridian.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
while Meridian dealt with Daniel's physical death, Shadowplay forces Jonas to confront his like mentor's mental deterioration.
Mm-hmm.
And at the center of both stories is Nequadria, a substance that's sort of neither good nor bad, but it looked like it could power shields and create hyperspace windows, but it also destroys planets.
Yeah, it's a
And
power source.
yeah, and we learn it destroys minds as well. So
Feel bad for Jonas. You can feel how like heartbroken he is.
yeah.
Like not just for him, but also his world, you know.
So I guess it doesn't confirm that he's going to die. I guess he just goes crazy. But
Mm,
ultimately, I suppose he will die with time. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
oh boy, here we go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're good. The coup's in
I
place.
think
Everything's gone well, darling.
at this stage you just have to sort of just play along with it. But
Yeah.
I hope that actor like got his full paycheck, even though he was technically a figment of Dr. Kieran's imagination.
Yeah, they get paid at scale. So yeah, for sure, a day's work.
He's got so much goodness in him, and he was really trying.
Oh, I know. That's good, Professor. Yeah. Yeah. Just make him feel like he's done something
Mm-hmm.
worthy.
I think in the end, if this was kind of, if I was in a situation, this is the best possible. Like, you know, I'd love to just have someone while I'm
Mm.
deteriorating to tell me that everything's going to be okay and like guaranteed, because it's
Yeah,
just
of
such a nice,
course.
safe feeling.
So this episode sort of really divided Stargate fans. If you look at like um IMDb, for example, there's
Mm-hmm.
some pretty harsh reviews.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
fans sort of complained about the lack of action, minimal special effects, and they were sort of unhappy on the focus with Jonas. But like I totally get it because you're kind of wanting like an action-packed adventure when you watch SG1, and this one kind of may have caught you off guard. But I think it's kind of like a fascinating episode because it's a little bit different. Like instead of explosions and firefights, we get like this intense psychological thriller that kind of messes with your heads. And
Mm,
I think the stripped down style of the episode actually intentionally like helped us focus on Dr. Kieran's unraveling mental state.
Mm.
So I think sometimes the scariest threats are sort of, more internal.
mm.
There you go. Shadow play, everyone.
And continuing Evie's comment there, it's also it's a very good way to save money.